Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries, and this video is entitled GM Voices in Your Head, and it's inspired by a Stephen Lynch song where he talks about preparing to go on stage and all the little sort of questions that float around in your mind whilst you're doing that. And I'll put a link to a YouTube version of the song down below so you can have a listen to that. It's quite an interesting thing, and I think that it bears a great deal of similarity for someone who's about to GM a game. After all, you're essentially putting yourself up on a stage and performing, albeit as part of a group, in front of an audience, especially as well, not just your players, potentially if you're recording your game to go online, as I do with a lot of mine nowadays, you potentially got an audience of people who are watching the game either now or in the future who may also have their own thoughts and feelings about how that game's going. But obviously, first of all, you want to create an enjoyable game for yourself as the GM and for the players. So I think there's a lot of things as you're preparing and you're getting ready into that stage of being about to run a game, as I'm doing now. I'm running my Changeling game later on this evening, and I'll be putting out a video about the planning stage shortly afterwards, so as not to spoil the session, or so as not to have to forbid my players from watching it. But I think as you're in this prep stage now, where most of the prep's done and you're just sort of looking over your final notes, you're getting ready to run the actual game, there's a lot of thoughts that go through your head, and I just thought I'd share some of those with you now, since I think a lot of GMs do have those thoughts. I hope everyone's okay to make it to the game this evening. Now, have I got all my paperwork sorted out? Oh God, I hope I made enough notes. What am I going to do if the PCs go off mission? Can't remember all the rules. Oh God, it's been ages since I've read this system. Maybe I should have read it through a few more times. I don't know. Maybe I should bookmark some stuff in the rulebook. Should I use pictures for the NPCs? Or what if I made the plot too simple? Oh, what if it's too complicated? I wonder if the group are going to gel well together. Is 4 hours going to be enough time to cover all the plot? What if they wrap it up in 2 and we've got time to spare? Did I put enough stuff for each character to do? What if the party splits up? I've never even been to New York. Well, hopefully I can portray it in an interesting way. Hope everyone has fun during the game. So there you are. Those are just a few of the questions that inevitably go through my head when I'm preparing for a game. And I'm sure they go through a lot of other GMs' minds as well. And it's normal to have these worries, these fears. It's obviously you want to do well, you want people to enjoy your game. After all, if you didn't want people to enjoy it, you probably wouldn't bother putting yourself through the stress, the time it takes to plan out a game, etc. So I'm going to assume that you do want people to enjoy the game, so it's perfectly natural to have a bit of anxiety and a few questions about it. And I often have these thoughts myself when I'm preparing for a game. However, 9 times out of 10, if you just stay calm, place your confidence in the prep that you've done, no matter how much or how little it is, and you know your subject reasonably well, and even if you don't have any of that, if you just keep in mind overall what would make for a good story, what would make for an interesting game, then in my experience 9 times out of 10 you'll do absolutely fine, and these worries will come to almost nothing. However, if you do make some mistakes, don't worry too much about it, don't beat yourself up too much about it, learn from them and attempt to be better the next time. And I always say there's nothing wrong with not being the best games master in the world. Certainly I don't think I am. I don't think that anyone is the perfect games master. As long as you learn from each game you run and strive to be better the next time, then it'll be a valuable learning experience. And a lot of the time when GMs are beating themselves up about a game, you'll find that the players actually enjoyed the game anyway, and that's the main thing. As long as you enjoy the game and your players enjoy the game, then you've done a good job and you don't need to worry so much about it. So I'm looking forward to my game later on. Hopefully it'll all go well, and I'm sure I know that I'll be uploading the actual play. I'll probably put a little video with my thoughts about how it all went afterwards. Hopefully it'll go well. I've done my prep, I've got everything written down, I've got my NPC pictures. I'm about as prepped as I can be, and I'm really looking forward to it. Despite obviously feeling a little bit nervous, since I think everyone does before you're about to perform in any way, whether it be GMing, standing up and speaking in public, whatever it may be. And I think that's good to have that nervous energy. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, you'll consider clicking on the red dice there to subscribe to my channel. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you've got any comments or anything you want to say about it, put them in the comments box down below, or as always, hit me up in the Google Plus links. I really do enjoy reading what you write. So until I see you next time in my next video, take care and happy gaming wherever you are in the world.